huge inventory, and easy approvals. There's no finance manager to meet, just a friendly pal. That means Plaza Auto Leasing sales representative. Okay, because she never explains it, Sawyer. Representative that can handle most transactions from start to finish without you even having to step a foot in their office. All you have to do is place your order, and they will even deliver the car right to your door. What are you waiting for? Become a pal, Plaza Auto Leasing guy. Yes. And call Plaza Auto Leasing today. You can reach Plaza Auto Leasing at 718-975-9000, 718-975-9000, and you can also check out their website, www. Why do we have to say www anymore?
I don't know. Nobody ever does anymore.
Do we have to do www? You don't have to do that, Chris, right?
No, we don't do that anymore.
Okay, well, either way, www.plazaautoleasing.com, www. All right, why did I just say that already, right? Because I lost my place. PlazaAutoleasing.com, located at 2750 Nostrand Avenue on the corner of Avenue N and Nostrand Avenue, 718-975-9000. Become a pal today, and don't forget to tell them Uncle Heshy sent you. Now, I'm going to start my show quickly with a quick joke and a quote, and then we're going to get right into it today. And it's a quick joke because I knew Christopher's on the phone. I got to make him laugh. But Chris, the elections are coming up. We have some bad people running, and I want to tell you what I believe. Honesty. And I've always been honest, and honesty is goodness about someone's character, integrity, honesty, kindness, generosity, moral courage are the like. More than anything else, it is about how we treat other people. And I've always treated other people honorably, and I believe that I have the integrity to do things right. And you know why I'm going to tell you this, Christopher? Because, yes, I am running for state senate now. I'm also running for a second position as a district leader. And this guy, Mr. Schwartz, was so scared of me. He actually, you're not going to believe it, Chris. I know you think I'm kidding with you. He cut one block out when they redistrict, which was my block. That is not an honorable thing to do. And just to punish him, because he thought it'd be me and him, he went against Mayor Eric Adams. I was the one supporting Adams when he was in town, trying to help him, give him his phone calls. But as you can see, once he became mayor, he disappeared from my side. He promised me dinner, lunch, and he's now wherever. So since this guy Schwartz was supporting Yang, he ended up taking Mr. Penny Ringel and supporting him for district leader. Now, let me tell you who Penny Ringel is. He was Mayor de Blasio's liaison to the Jewish community.
I think he's also Adams' liaison right now.
Oh, he is? I thought he wasn't. Because then why would he run from district leader, which is no money?
I think he just resigned to do it or something.
But there's no money in district leader, except if you're a lobbyist, you make a lot of private money. I think that wasn't liaison. Adams didn't take him. He had to quit because it's a new administration.
Okay, he had something to do with it. He was there for a while in the administration.
Maybe turning, but all I can tell you is this: Mr. Ringel, in the middle of the pandemic, told me he will arrest me, and the mayor said he will arrest me if I open the parks. I laughed at him. When I wanted to do this big carnival for the kids, Mr. Ringel stopped me, threatened me. I got my permit. He then threatened with Kalman Yeager to cancel my permit. Finally, the day before the carnival, $70,000, they stopped the carnival. The police stopped it. But they were having parades and marches and in the Bronx and Manhattan. Again, they took away our privilege from the guys. And then when I got a private lot, they told me if anybody walks into the street, they're going to make sure to arrest or push us around or shut us down. This is who Penny Ringel is. And now here is a guy who did not help the community, did not come out for the community, kept our schools and shuls and synagogues and let the inspectors all over us. He's now going to be a representative. But let's clear that away. Simcha Felder, our state senator, who I'm running against, guys. I'm getting signatures. I already have 600 signatures. Wow. I'm going for 3,000.
You need 1,000 to qualify.
I need 1,000 and 500 for district leader. I got my district leader, but I'm going for 3,000, Christopher. This guy, Simcha Felder, for 2 years has not gone to Albany, has hidden his basement. All of a sudden, now he's coming out. He's starting to walk around. I don't understand. For 2 years, you didn't fight for us. After I opened the parks, he showed up. And then he started to make news conferences. And you should have seen his news conferences. He only had 10, 15 people. But the way they maneuver the cameras, it was a joke. And when I called him to open the parks, he left at me. When I called him about the schools, when I called him about the wedding halls and synagogues, nowhere to be found. And you know what he does? Instead of going to Albany and vote and do this stuff, he's here a professor. He's a pretty good professor because he gave my son an A, by the way.
All right.
But I want you to know.
It can't be all bad.
But he is bad. He had no choice. My son studied and was good, and I would have checked that over, trust me. But this is it. He's busy earning a living as a professor when he should be driving to Albany, sitting over there. Stop wearing a mask. You're already 68 years old. You're doing this for 20 years. You haven't accomplished anything big. He takes credit for stuff. You know, he comes and delivers boxes of food on a one day a year when it's not even his organization. I just don't understand guys like this, and we are going to vote them all in. So let me tell you, my community, they redistrict us to Borough Park, Flatbush, Midwood. I want volunteers. I'm not going to raise money, and I will, but I'm saying when I get on the ballot, I'm going to do this fairly. I want the people to come out. I want the people to choose. Last night I had a call, Chris. A guy calls me up and says with his two friends, Heshy, I was in depression during the pandemic. You saved us. You got me out. I laughed at your videos. I went to the parks. I swear to you,
Awesome. 3
guys called me and they said, we're going to help you. And I was so proud that they, out of the blue, and I had a rabbi there that I was helping out with his school, and I couldn't believe it was late at night, like maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night. This is what I want to do, Chris. This is who I am, and now I'm going to tell you a quick joke because I made you all serious. Are you ready for my joke?
I thought that was the joke.
Oh, that wasn't the joke. The joke is that these idiots are running. You're right. But here's my joke. Linda came into the kitchen the other night, and I was
one room I never washed up.
Right, exactly. And I was doing the dishes, and she saw me sitting on one of those big chairs, you know, the high chairs, like the bar stool chairs. Linda asked me, "What are you doing?" She never saw anyone doing dishes on a chair. I said, "I told her I can't stand doing the dishes." You get it?
You're getting better. You're getting better.
It's a very, very tricky.
You're getting much better.
I am getting better.
All
But
right.
Linda did say that. It was Linda's comment, so I give Linda all the credit. Chris, let's start our show. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Our mask mandate is over. In New York. Almost, except for kids under 5.
Yeah, kids are preschool is age 2 to 4, which is preschool in New York. If you go to public schools, for some reason, they're at a greater risk than the rest of the world. You know, even that they're least susceptible to the corona, and they're the least likely to transmit to anyone else.
And the numbers are so down, Chris. They're less than 3%, less than 4%. Hospital beds are not being taken over. And okay, you want to go into the hospital? I say wear a mask when you go into the hospital. You know why, Chris? Because the diseases that you'll catch going in there, it's so sickening in there. I go in there. That's why you should wear a mask, not because you're protecting the people in there, but. There is nothing going on. They're still sucking money. My wife went to my Mondelez hospital when we had our insurance, and they ended up sending additional bills. You should see. We people, you, me, Ezra, we're dumbbells. They send us a bill. We don't even fight or look at it, and we pay extra. And because they just bill, and this corona.
I constantly, every time I get a hospital bill, what I find amazing is, and I ask people all the time, is there any other area of life where you would go buy a car, buy anything, and you'd walk in and take it and walk away, and then 6 weeks later they'd call and tell you what it costs? It's ridiculous. Absolutely insane.
I know.
I will tell you something. A few years, about 8 years
By the
ago.
way, 1 minute, we didn't give a shout out to my friend Sergeant Peter who helped me with that boy who arrested.
Sure.
You know, Christopher, Ezra is a great lawyer. Ezra is wonderful. He saves me all the time with people in jail. You guys don't know what Ezra does in the middle of the night. Ezra, I'm shouting out to you and your wonderful family. My granddaughter Mira Nava, who loves chocolate now. We're not doing lollipop because chocolate goes down faster, and she's gonna be a butterfly in Purim, and Layla Tamar, and my friend Ellie, and whoever else I missed. By the way, everybody, if you want to advertise on the show, justenoughheshy@gmail.com, or you should watch us on Facebook, Just Enough Heshy, YouTube, Just Enough Heshy. We're now being live on Instagram, Just Enough Heshy, or Heshy Tishla, and also Odyssey. You ever heard of Odyssey?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very cool.
I've never used it, but I've heard of it.
We're going to do more, and stuff like that. But Chris, explain to me now. The world is going to hell. We're losing. I mean, you are a very smart investor. I'm not as smart as you, but I've invested for the long term. No, I'm being serious. You have lots of money all over the place. I mean, you help people. You advise people. The market has crashed because of something forget what your idiot friend Biden did. But what I'm asking you is this stupid little war. It's not stupid. I know people have gotten injured, but this war that shouldn't even exist, and we're losing billions and trillions of dollars. What do we do? I mean, do we invest? Do we pull out? Is this war serious? Zelensky has the right to what I understand is that Putin gave him the option that if he gives into his terms, he will let Ukraine still be independent, sovereign. Just he has to give back like 4 little cities or towns or whatever.
But
wait a minute, and that's it. And then it's all over. The market goes back up, and the world is good.
No, it isn't. It isn't because once he gives it 4 cities, a year from now, when everybody forgets what's going on in Ukraine, nobody cares again. He's just going to go in and take it all over. He can't give it.
But you gave him the Crimea. We gave him the Crimea.
Well, he took the Crimea, and Obama let him, and the world forgot about it. So then he said, "Okay, I got a Biden in the White House. I'm going to take it. I'm going to wait, and the world will forget about it again."
But Chris, what's so important about Ukraine? I mean, why does Putin want it at all?
Absolutely fascinating about this guy, right? He's 70. He's stolen $30 billion.
I heard he's the richest man in the world, by the way.
Go buy 7 adjoining villas on Lake Como and spend the rest of your life eating nothing but caviar and cocaine. Who cares? Like this is a revanchist KGB, old school Soviet who misses the insanity. And the greatest thing is it's taken him 14 days to bring Russia back to the Soviet Union where people are waiting in line at grocery stores to buy bread. So it only took 2 weeks to bring back the glories of the Soviet Empire. This guy's a maniac. And Lindsey Graham caught fire.
Lindsey Graham shouldn't have said what he said publicly. I don't care.
He should absolutely have said it. I've said it publicly. I suggested every single person I know.
Chris,
what did Leslie Graham say? What did Leslie Graham say?
You and I are both private citizens. Okay, it's another thing for a senator who may not be on the Armed Services Committee also to go say it's a good idea for a member of the Russian.
You're kidding me? It's a good idea. He should have said the American people are going to put up a $100 million bounty and full amnesty to whoever puts a bullet in this idiot.
Well, that would be nice if our president said, but our president's not going to say that. But the thing is, like,
someone in NATO should say that. It shouldn't be the U.S.
But Christopher, if the war ends tomorrow, I'm just asking you a hypothetical. The war ends tomorrow, he makes a deal, whatever. He gives in, Putin gives in. And remember, if Putin leaves in 10 or 15 years or dies, who's going to replace him? Do we have any idea how much worse it will be? But let's forget that. If the war ends tomorrow, does the markets go up? Does gas come down? Does the world breathe an easier breath or no?
I was first off on gas. That's got nothing to do with Putin. That is all Biden.
I agree with you 100%.
All the time.
I agree with you 100%.
It is so stupid, this nonsense.
It's a religion. It's a religion.
They are trying to shove it down our throats. They're trying to get Stephen Colbert to go on and talk. They're trying to do everything they can to equate paying more at the gas pump for some bizarre notion of patriotic brotherhood with the oppressed Ukrainian people. It's absurdity.
Well,
they have stopped pumping on land. They've denied permits. They've got this great talking point, which for people who aren't in the oil and gas industry, it sounds really logical.
It's not just if you're not in the oil and gas industry. If you listen to left wing media, which is almost 90% of those countries, the media, like everybody, even the media pundits on Fox News, some of them are left leaning. But at the end of the day, it's a new religion. They create this new religion of
they love it.
We're gonna say of climate change, which is a joke. I mean, one tenth of a degree in 100 years from now, honestly, and it's just this new religion that they created is not based on science at all, not based on anything at all. It's based on actually just making.
But so bottom line, Chris,
indoctrinating you. That's what's killing us.
But Chris, are they still going to continue violating our rights, or are we going to
more than they have? More than they have.
That's their favorite goal. That's all they want to do. They want a population of docile sheeple who will bend over and take whatever they give, and everyone has got to stand up and say no to this nonsense. I can't tell you how happy I am I live in the last free state in America, Florida.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm jealous of you.
Did you see the?
I'm jealous of you. By the end of the day,
did you see the law Florida passed?
Yeah.
Tell us about that new law, which is so great, Chris.
The no speaking about stuff in schools.
Well, Chris, you have a little kid. Chris has a little kid.
So do I.
I know.
Yeah.
It should be spoken of in any public school.
And
to be honest
what
with
is so amazing is the left's ability to accuse others of doing what they're doing. Right?
Exactly.
We heard of this nonsense. So this law is basically it would be called common sense anywhere else, which is first off, when I was growing up and they were having battles over whether there should be sex education in the schools, right? It was all about, is it sixth grade? Is it seventh grade? When do they have? Does the gym teacher give the talk? Like, when does that happen? It never occurred to anybody that you should be talking to kindergartners about the fact, well, you might want to decide to be a boy tomorrow. Like, it never occurred to anyone that this absurdity would be introduced at that stage of life to children who've got no comprehension. And of course, the left-wing media instantly turned on this and began to scream about it being, don't say gay. It has nothing to do with anything to do with a rational discussion of children who may or may not turn out to be gay as they get older. It's about kindergarten through third grade, not addressing children with topics that are totally inappropriate to the stage of development in any way, shape, or form. And the best part is the reporters are trying to do anything they can to cut DeSantis down because they're terrified of him in terms of a presidential run. So they try to do everything they can. And watching him at press conferences is magic. He's like a jiu-jitsu black belt. He turns and flips them after every stupid question. It's beautiful.
So my question,
but I
you
want you
touch
to know,
upon something.
but I know I've been a father, foster father, grandfather, uncle. You don't teach kids before 12 or 13 about sex education.
They don't want. It's not
there's
about.
no reason to teach them because there's no use of it. You're right. 12, 13, 14.
It's not about logic. It's not about logic. It's not about what's right or wrong anymore. We live in this dystopian society today where everything is now turned. Everything's flipped.
I know, but it doesn't.
What's right is wrong, and what's wrong is right.
But you heard what I said: honesty, integrity. It's not.
But you talk about a bunch of politicians.
Okay, I know, but people think it's your ability to do things. No, it's your responsibility to do things. People who are proper leaders are responsible, coming and going like you, Chris, every day. Just because you're able to do things doesn't mean you're responsible enough that you will get it done all the time. And I know that that's why I'm better than a lot of these guys, because I have very much responsibility on me, and I'm always there for everybody, and I'm always talking about it. Chris, by the way, I want to give you some numbers before we do a commercial. Felony assaults, you're going to love this because you're going to have a lot of business, Ezra. Felony assaults.
They changed the bail laws.
But felony assaults this month of March, I'm talking 9 days, up 22%. Robbery, 56%. Grand larceny, 79%. Gets better. Auto theft, 105%. Transit crime, 73%. Transit arrest, 64%. I'm not even going into rapes and murders because I don't want to scare you people. Our city has no control. And by putting in the leaders like David Schwartz, who Mayor Adams is upset with, even though I am so happy he's going after Schwartz, and I'm so happy Ringel, the most incompetent, biggest idiot, and I like him because he goes to a synagogue that I go to and he gave me candy for my granddaughter. I'm not saying he's a bad person, bad father. I'm just saying he's evil, which means is he doesn't care about... No, being evil means not being a family man. Don't care about your fellow man. Thinking that you're moving up the ladder by stepping on all those others. And I swear to you, I'm firsthand that I called this guy so many times. He was in my groups, on my WhatsApp groups, telling me the parks better be closed. We're going to arrest you. He should have been fighting for the Jewish community as our liaison, not agreeing with the mayor for us. The mayor then went with this guy while one of the big rabbis was sitting and mourning for his wife or brother or whatever. He went to the house with Mayor de Blasio with the mask and they took it off. But to open up the wedding halls or for us to go to our funerals, unless we're a big rabbi or a big rich man, it doesn't work like that. We all have to be locked up. That's my point with Ringel. a two-faced guy who's best friends with the biggest borough park rat in town, Jacob. And I'm allowed to say this now. You told me I can't.
Yes, your order protection's up.
He's shutting off my mic, but my order protection is over. Jacob Cornbooth is. I don't care.
All right, let's just.
Jake, he has no right to do that. You're fired. He's a rat. A rat.
Okay. All right, let's move on.
Okay, but I'm just telling you, Christopher, if you're friends, Christopher, if you're friends with a rat, you're a rat, and that's the way it works.
I think you would advertise.
Yes, I'm going to do the next ad right now. We're going to talk about.
You should have an ad for an exterminator.
We should. We did have ones, by the way, but we can't say that because they might come arrest me. I'm going to kill them. Burke's Barbershop. Located at 108 Avenue I. You can reach Burke's Barbershop at 718-758-5187, 718-758-5187, or call or text or WhatsApp him personally for an appointment at 347-845-9131, 347-845-9131. Yes, he always sings to me, so he's the official singing barber of me, Heshy Tishlan. He makes cuts out all my white hair. He's always on top of his game. I love him, by the way. He made a singles event for a bunch of young singles this week and a little older singles, and I was very proud of him, trying to get people to come together and get them married or meet each other and get them from loneliness, because a lot of people are alone for the last 2 years. I'm very proud. Burke's Barbershop, 108 Avenue I. Guys, go in there, give him some business. He's very, very cool. And I want to do one more quickie commercial for my favorite friend, Ezra Levy, my attorney. What's your phone number? I don't even know your phone number.
Sure, you did. 917-755-1187.
718
917.
I see, you messed up.
No, I
know you did. 917-755-1187. Call Ezra for all your criminal needs. What else do we do, Ezra?
I do criminal, I do family law, I do everything else.
Everything else. Ezra will get you there. He picks up his phone late at night, during the day. Call the Just Enough Heshy. Call me. We will find a way to get you. Ezra, what's your email address, by the way?
My email address is Ezra Levy Law Firm. I'm sorry it's so long. Ezra Levy Law Firm at gmail.com.
EZRA.
Correct. LEVYLAWFIRM at gmail.com.
917-755-1187. Ezra, thank you for all you do for the community, for all the people you help, and they're actually caring about it. Any questions for us from the thing?
So far, we're good. The sound is great. They love our show.
Okay.
So let's keep going.
So, question to you. You never answered me, Chris. If the thing ends with Russia, or will it end? Do we have a solution? Or do you think Putin will give in? I mean, I can't go on. I mean, we just forgot about our pandemic since there's a war.
Well, it can go on. My question is, and I've been asking folks, and who are old enough, the folks who are old enough to remember World War II now that I know we're children, but did it seem as absurd then as this does now? This just seems, it's evil, it's awful, it's crazy. He bombed a maternity hospital today. It's beyond evil. It just seems completely ridiculous, right? People used to go to war because land equals wealth. Land no longer equals wealth. So this crazy old KGB maniac, whose brain, as far as I could tell, is riddled with syphilis and Parkinson's, has decided he's going to recreate the glories of the Soviet Empire by murdering everybody and destroying the cities in Ukraine. It's evil and maddening and completely absurd by turns. There is no good outcome for Putin in this.
So he has this much.
Good outcome.
He has this much power that his people or his oligarchs none of his people, none of his advisors can stop him. He has this much power. This one man.
This is my point about NATO issuing a statement saying they'll give full amnesty and $100 million to whoever puts a bullet in his head. It's the only way to end this insanity. It is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, but
this is happening in 2022.
I mean, my question, Chris, is what's preventing somebody else from doing it?
Well, nobody can get to Putin. Nobody can get to Putin.
What's preventing China from not repeating the same thing now?
China's watching this very closely.
Right,
they're absolutely delighted.
Right.
They're watching the West do absolutely nothing.
Right. So what's stopping China from going to Taiwan?
I disagree.
What's stopping Iran now from taking over the Middle East?
Well, Iran can't do nothing. They're losers.
Iran is unable to, but China is going to try.
But here's my thing why I believe China can't. Taiwan was a sovereign country for many years. Even they were also, under British rule, they have a real army. They have really trained guys. They're on an island away from China.
That's the only thing that's different. I think
China can't just march in there. These guys are real. Ukraine, those guys. I know who they are, but they're not hardened criminals. They're not hardened soldiers. They have no weapons. They haven't been around a long time. While Taiwan is a real country with real money, with real army, with real generals. And I like Zelensky. I know he's trying, but at the end of the day, Zelensky is not going to stay. He's going to run away when they come after him.
I actually disagree. I think he's not going anywhere.
No, he's going to stay. The problem is
he's not going anywhere.
The problem is we might not be seeing him for much longer. There's definitely, he's gonna take a bullet with every other Ukrainian. He's made that very clear. He's there until the end. He's not leaving.
Leaving.
But if they kill him, aren't they war criminals for killing a president?
They're already war criminals for targeting children.
They bombed the maternity ward.
They bombed the maternity ward.
By
They
mistake.
attacked the nuclear power plant.
They're going to say by mistake.
The thing is, you have to understand something. The ICC, okay, there's two countries who do not respond to the ICC. The U.S., the United States of America does not bow down to the ICC jurisdiction, and neither does Russia.
For good reason.
For good reason, because the Soviet Union in the days of the Soviet Union and the United States in the days of the Cold War had to be able to kill people even in the wrong, do stuff that was
that's a little unfair.
Extrajudicial stuff.
The United States shouldn't be party to the International Criminal Court because
the United States should be part of most international court
daily. We'd be called to the court daily for frivolous nonsense every time someone wanted to make a political point somewhere.
Chris,
that's why we're not seeing this court.
Chris, most countries are brought in there daily for not frivolous nonsense. Look at Israel.
Well, they were stupid to assign the agreement.
Right. Look at Israel's not even part of it, but they always get called in either. But at the end of the day, you can't to say that he's not going to commit any more war crimes. He's already done enough that He's earned the death penalty over and over and over again.
Okay, Chris, give us some financial advice.
Invest in oil in Venezuela.
No, you can't.
Invest in oil in Venezuela.
No, Chris, the market today went up 600, 700 points. Yesterday went down 200 points, 500 points. I got it that it fluctuates. But are we, the way my banker told me, he says, Heshy, if you think that the world is going to hell, so either way, whatever you have, even if it goes up or down, it's worthless to you. He says, if you believe the market's going to crash, sell out. But the market's not going to crash because it's always returned. Even in 2008, when it collapsed 50%, you see that it came back. So the future and these companies are never going to go bust. We're going to have some issues. So my question to you is, do we stay the course? Will it get better? Will this end? Or will this go on for the next 6 months and a lot of us won't be able to earn a living? And then, really, I paid today $63 for a tank of gas. I paid last year $30. I'm not, I can afford it, but a lot of people can't. And it doesn't make sense.
And then you have people like Buttigieg who will tell you, invest in a $60,000 electric car.
If you can find a $60,000
if you can find, because Tesla's not going to, because nobody's going to actually raise the prices on the only thing on the market. Plus, you can't, the other thing is, but people don't realize, you can't get delivered to anything anymore.
Now, hold on, Ezra, this is fascinating. You tell me that Buttigieg has come off his 95-year paternity leave? He's actually
No. I think he did it on a Zoom call.
You see, was he breastfeeding?
And that's not.
I think he was nursing twice.
And that's.
And by the way, I will tell you something. I worked in an office where I got parental leave after my child was born. And I'm fine for it, except if you are a secretary of an office in the United States government.
Correct.
If you're a civil servant and you're supposed to be the example, and your name is being floated for being the next Democratic nominee for the president of the United States.
But let's look at the bright side. I would much rather have Mr. Buttigieg off playing tiddlywinks with his children than actually, quote unquote, doing the job that he was appointed to.
Oh, well, that's what anybody in the administration. That's with anybody.
I prefer that he not do it.
See, I want to tell you guys, I understand you telling me maternal leave, and I like the way you put it, Ezra, paternal leave.
Parental leave.
Parental leave, but I'm a father, and I have my own business. I wish I could have had paternal leave for my business, which I couldn't be. And I don't believe a man. The reason why we have maternity leave is because a woman went through a traumatic experience having a baby, and then she has to have breastfeeding, she has to get close to them. You can't have a woman go back to work the next day or the next week. But a father, a man who doesn't give birth to a child, no.
I will tell you something. Just two things. I mean, it's a little off topic. I will tell you, I had parental leave when I was working in the Legal Aid Society. Okay, and I enjoyed it. And
Me too.
I actually, it was great, and I got to bond with my child, and you got
So
to help
nice
my
for you.
wife. I was able to help my wife when she needed.
So nice of you.
Now,
But
when we
the
had my
point
daughter,
is,
when I had my baby, I'll tell you. It's a different experience because I also I had my own office when I had my daughter, and we couldn't, and I didn't take any leave off, and I still have a very good relationship with my daughter. But there is something there. There is something to be said about parental leave, but I don't think that's the topic right now. And as I said, if you're Secretary of Transportation, if you're Secretary of whatever it is,
President of the United States.
President of the United States. Well, our President of the United States is on a catnap for 24 hours a day. But once you have that responsibility and you ask for, and it's appointed to you, it's entrusted to you by the people of the United States of America, the citizens, you have a duty to show up. And also, it's parental leave is 6 to 8 weeks, even for a mother. I mean, let's be very frank here. Neither Pete nor his quote unquote husband, which is another joke, neither of them actually give birth. Right. This was an adoption. This was a joke. I'm not going to get. I have my own very archaic views about Dorothy having two fathers and all that. It's all we could go back to the Florida. I belong in Florida, I guess. But at the end of the day, that's not the issue. At the end of the day, we have a bunch of elitists who are creating this new religion, of green climate change, and it's all a way to tell you what to do.
I know.
It's all a way to control you. Biden could easily lower gas prices by reversing that stupid executive order he did on the first day in the White House, and if he did that, price of oil will go down.
Is that true? Is that true, Chris?
Well, the larger problem right now, first off, the pipeline should have continued to be built because the idiocy of this is the payoff that Warren Buffett got from Obama for the stupid statements of, well, my secretary pays a higher effective rate of income tax than I do. Well, Warren, calculate the difference, write a check to the Treasury. Thank you, they will take it. Right? So the reason he got his payoff was Obama canceled the Keystone Pipeline because it competed with, wait for it, the rail cars that currently carry that oil down from Alberta down to the United States. So the oil's still flowing. And the greatest part for the left, who want to moan on and on about their environmental credentials, is there are more accidents statistically on rail cars derailing than there ever are on pipelines rupturing. So they lie and lie and lie, and they can't stop lying. So this is a delayed payoff. They thought Hillary was going to win the elections. They thought it was going to continue. Trump, of course, so this is insanity. Of course, we want the pipeline. We don't want Warren Buffett's trains carrying the oil. And then Biden on day one follows his boss's orders and cancels it again. So that's one problem.
Yeah,
the
but
major
Chris,
problem
Chris, I don't understand even what you're explaining. I agree with you, but I don't understand what changed that oil went up triple.
I'm telling you, hold on, sorry, I digress. Because the thing with the pipeline drives me nuts. That there are oil leases and there are permitting, and then there are more prospective lands versus less prospective lands. And the bureau in charge of handing out oil leases from the federal government has deliberately, from day one in Biden's stay in office, has slow-rolled new applications, has delayed, and importantly, they have put pressure on banks and investors under this ESG nonsense to not invest in oil and gas companies. So much like Cuomo and Letitia James took insurance companies and banks to jail for doing business with the National Rifle Association, even though there was nothing illegal about it, they chose to vilify them and attack them. So people in the oil and gas sector are having trouble finding capital for new wells, and they're finding it really, really hard to get access to more prospective land and better land for drilling. Those two things together are strangling American oil and gas production, which is what is driving prices through the roof.
It's not just
and
gas.
until we
Right.
back that out,
But it's not just gas. It's not gas.
Are we
It's
all
just-
stupid and we don't see this? I mean, it's just
No, we're
something wrong with us?
powerless. We're powerless right now.
Harold,
We're
you
powerless until
didn't turn
November.
charge.
We're powerless until there's new people in charge.
Well, either way, I want to tell you guys, I have a flyer that I'm going to be posting on that I will be in Times Square on March 18th for a rally with a bunch of people, the founder of the CAPP, Jeffrey Bryant. I'm going to be there with Christopher Wright, Barbara from. We're going to have an open spigots, Brandon, if you want to call it. It's a rally with a renowned doctor, physician, and scientist. It's just going to be a big thing, and I am going to be speaking over there. So show up there on Times Square, March 18th at 1 p.m. It's Friday. You can't come,
Yeah, it's just Purim.
Ezra,
Yeah.
but I will be there. It's after Purim, which I might even take my outfit because I'm going as a clown this year.
How perfect.
Yeah, I have no choice.
How
But
perfect.
we're gonna do another commercial if you don't mind. We're gonna do my favorite guy, attorney office of James Meadows, high-ranked traffic lawyer, former criminal lawyer, dedicated to all moving violations throughout New York State. James handles all points-related moving violations in New York City, Long Island, upstate New York, speeding, red lights, cell phones, stop signs, failure to lead, and improper turns, traffic offenses with stiff penalties, including huge fines, points, increased insurance rates, suspensions of your driver's license, and even being arrested. So you call my boy, James Meadows. He's really helped me. He's 5 for 5 with me. The law offices of James Meadows is your best chance of beating your traffic ticket. 845-TICKETS or 845-842-5387. Or, of course, 917-856-1247, 917-856-1247, and his email address is jamesmeadows@gmail.com, JAMESMEADOWS@gmail.com. But again, easiest way to reach him, 845-TICKETS. The guy is really good, careful, and he's smart. He understands the law. He understands it's a game on their end, and he knows how to play it well. James Meadows, 917-856-1247. But I'm telling you to remember 845-TICKETS. Thank you so much, people, for listening to him and trusting him. And I always call him with an issue, just like I call you, Ezra.
I hear you.
Again, Chris, you lost me. I don't know what changed from a year ago from Trump to today. I know what you're telling me about the leases and all that stuff. So you're telling
Basically,
me
they stopped production of oil and gas flowing out of American-owned wells.
Right.
That's all you need to know.
but it's not
the details
fair.
of how they do it doesn't matter.
it does. It does, Chris.
Actually,
Chris, it does.
Actually, we've been
You-
seeing this. That this was known from the day one. Everybody's been saying this. This is. I mean, and people don't realize it's not just that. It's our prices are going. To fill up our tanks
This
are going
is their
up.
goal. They
But
want higher gas prices.
But it's not just higher gas. Higher gas prices also means that there's less. It costs more for our stuff to get delivered, which means higher prices for produce, groceries, and the like in the stores. Everything's going up. When you raise gas prices, you basically raise everybody's overhead.
He's the president of the United States, the most powerful man, supposedly the smartest man.
Nobody's ever
Smartest
accused.
man, he's an idiot.
Nobody's ever accused Joe Biden of being smart. Don't accuse. No more false accusations. Ever. Joe Biden.
Ever.
Joe Biden
You can make
plagiarized
fun
his way
of him
through
as much as you
no,
want.
No, but nobody's ever
But he's
accused.
still the president.
He's the president. But don't
We trust him.
Don't besmirch him by calling him
No, we
intelligent.
don't. We don't
besmirch him by
trust him
calling him
at all.
intelligent. Nobody's ever trusted. Look, with all due respect, nobody trusts anyone anymore.
So my question to you, Chris, here's the trick. The year before he gets reelected or runs again, will everything change and drop? Will he set it up?
It's
that,
September of
look
this
out-
year. When it's September.
No, this is midterm elections.
No, exactly. It's September of this year when his. You have to understand. Right now, the Democratic Party is fractured. You have these left-wing radicals who have hijacked the Democratic Party. That today's Democrat, the Democrats of 40 years ago do not recognize a Democrat anymore.
I know.
So they've hijacked their party. And right now, there's going to be such a big turnover because the only Democrats that are going to get reelected are these radical leftists because they live in the bluest of districts, and nobody's ever going to run against them. But those the middle of the road Democrat, or your old time liberal Democrat who you could deal with, and you could once in a while will cross party lines, and you can make a compromise with. They're the ones whose seats are at risk, and they're not going to take it quietly. They're not going to take it quietly. They're going to. They're going to rise up. They're going to rise up and say, enough is enough. You cost us. You cost us a lot. You cost us a lot of seats last time around, because believe it or not, when Biden won the election, or if he did or he didn't, the Democrats were expecting a big blue wave in Congress. They were expecting to sweep the House. They were expecting to take over the Senate. Not at 50-50, and they almost lost the House. They have a 5 or 6 seat majority because of the good news.
The only good news I can take from all this is that they had a chance to jam through all this stuff earlier. They got some of it done, but the wave crested, and now they're just coasting until the midterms where they're going to get slaughtered.
You're right.
They're trying anything
but
change.
I mean, honestly,
but they can't, because they still can't change the administration. The administration is the one in charge of handing out leases and dealing with oil and gas.
Chris, look, yesterday Biden came up. He made his announcement. He didn't want to make that announcement. Okay, the problem is the Democrats in Congress turned on him. They were already saying they were sitting down with Republicans in the Senate. They're going to pass a bill making it illegal to deal with Russia. Nancy Pelosi opened the big mouth and said, "You know what? I'm all for banning Russian oil." Because Nancy Pelosi sees the handwriting on the wall. Her days as the Speaker of the House are over, not because...
Will she retire if
she will never retire. She's running because of the children. This woman who has supported abortion on demand for 40 years is running because of the children. Nancy Pelosi is not retiring. She doesn't want to live anywhere near Chris in Florida.
That's right. The evil is too strong in her. So the problem we have is, unless there is a marked, significant policy change at the administration level, this is going to go on forever. Remember, this is their religion. You got John Kerry, that lunatic, who, in response to Russia starting to bomb children and women,
is the Green New Deal
doesn't interfere with
the Green New Deal.
Russia's commitment to climate change. Yeah. How much more out of touch with reality and evil can you possibly be? You're preoccupied with the effects of carbon emissions for an invasion. Why don't you call your buddy Putin and tell him not to invade because of the carbon emissions, John? I mean, it is unbelievable how evil and out of touch these people are. They're crazy, absolutely crazy. And what distresses me is the number of people that profess to be indifferent to politics. As I said to someone the other day, I said, "Well, I'm not interested in politics." I said, "You live in Florida. That's like saying that you live in a paper shack on a beach with a Force 5 hurricane coming at you, saying you're not interested in the weather." Well, you may not be, but it's real interested in you, and it's coming for you. And if you're not looking at the gas pump saying $5.50 a gallon, and if they want it to go up, they admire gas prices in Europe. They think the gas prices in Europe are the bee's knees. Oh, it's great. Higher taxes, more government spending. People can't afford to drive cars. They love it. Love it. They want higher gas prices. They don't want lower.
Well, America will never give up that luxury.
That's not true.
We're never going to give up our cars.
You're not going to give up your cars. Not quietly.
No, they're not quietly. Giving it up at all.
But they already did. I mean, I hate to say this. There is Biden, whether he stole the election or not, got at least 70 million votes.
Yeah.
Okay? The Democrats do control Congress for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, there's a reason for that. Because people
we still have a Bill of Rights. We have a right to do things.
We don't have any rights left.
I'm going to...
Chris is right. Look, I'm saying this as someone who's stood up for the Constitution, defended people's constitutional rights. There's no Constitution left in this country. Even in the state of Florida, it's because you have a governor who's doing everything with a very cooperative legislature that's seeing right from wrong. But there is no Constitution left. The Bill of Rights has gone to the toilet.
First of all, I want to get to a point before I get to Cuomo again. But do you know the New York City Board of Elections, they had a vendor error which triggered 44,000 fully inactive voter registration notices. Now, the most recent error marks the latest in a series of administrative mistakes by the beleaguered Board of Elections. I mean, Chris.
Beleaguered.
I know. My point is we're
they're making it harder for me to steal elections for Democrats. Well, I feel beleaguered.
You don't have to be a registered voter anymore in New York City.
I know.
Right? In municipal elections, you don't even have to be a U.S. citizen.
But my point is why?
I'm sorry.
Again,
guilty as charged. What can I tell you?
You guys are going to be sarcastic to me, and you're going to say, "Well, Heshy, that's the way it is, and too bad, and there's no constitution,
no,
there's
I'm
no
with
rights."
You.
No, we're with you.
I know you're with me, but I'm complaining a lot, and I can't come up with a solution. I don't know how to stop that.
I will tell you something when I first started practicing law that some attorneys told me. The last thing you do as a lawyer is say the word the Constitution. Because when you say the Constitution, that means I've given up coming up with any creative answer other than, Judge, the law requires you to do it. And you know what? Nobody cares. The law has been thrown on its face. We've done this country created the founding fathers of this country were geniuses. Okay? Alexander Hamilton and the Federalists, they were geniuses when they came up with those Bill of Rights. But it doesn't exist anymore. You don't even know what the Third Amendment is.
What is the Third Amendment?
The Quartering Act.
Wow.
Okay, but nobody knows what it is because you know why?
You mean I don't have to let these British soldiers stay in my house?
Exactly.
That's
exactly it, because it's not British soldiers. But the thing is, but we all know what the Fourth Amendment is. Right. But you know how many exceptions are being carved out to the Fourth Amendment?
How many exceptions to the Fifth Amendment?
There is no Fifth Amendment. Yeah, the Fifth Amendment.
Fifth Amendment, they can put you in jail if you hold the Fifth Amendment. Can you believe that?
Yeah, exactly.
If you hold your own amendment and you don't want to talk to protect yourself, the judge could put you in jail.
To this day, that's exactly the problem.
And we have nobody. I thought we'd have somebody better. I know when Trump was there, but even Trump let them get away with stuff.
I will tell you something. Trump did appoint a lot of very conservative federal judges. The thing is that because of we haven't seen their opinions yet. Most of these judges who have been making because they didn't get the cases
I would also say all is not lost. I would say that even in the darkest of times, where a lot of these, as you say, the Constitution has been shredded and thrown out, and people pay no attention. There are still people fighting the good fight. Like I've done a bunch of interviews with the guys at the Institute for Justice, for example, and they go to bat daily, fighting people on ridiculous laws, state by state. Now, in an ideal world, they shouldn't have to,
right?
But at least they do.
No, again, I'm not saying give up the fight. I'm just saying
can't give up the fight.
I agree with you, but yet the reality on the ground is most Americans don't care. That's the reality. I know. That's the reality.
Unfortunately,
most Americans don't care.
Just for your knowledge, I have an example. In our neighborhood, we had a great judge called Noah Der.
Sure.
He helped our community, Christopher. He helped our people.
He used to call me.
He talked to the regular people. He asked for our advice. He sought when he was trying to make a decision. He went to the regular people and said, "Listen, I want to know your opinions." And besides, he brought the law in. When he died, instead of replacing him with a judge of the same stature, the same religion, the same community, or because that's where he was located, this Mr. Schwartz took, and there were so many qualified lawyers, guardianship lawyers like Izzy Goldberg, who weren't even vetted. Instead, they replaced him with somebody else. So Mr. Schwartz, who's a lobbyist who makes no money as a district leader, was able to get paid or given jobs on the side. That's why Mr. Schwartz shouldn't be there. That's why he ran for Yang, because he thought he'd be Yang's liaison. Penny Ringel doesn't deserve to be there. Simcha Felder, 2 years. I know he's in politics for 30-something years. Okay, you want to say the last 2 years were COVID? He hasn't gone to Albany. He's not voting. He switched from Democrat to Republican back to Democrat.
I will tell you, that's one thing I will always give Simcha Felder a lot of props for. He was one of those four Democrats who saved New York State for a few years by at least, siding with the Republicans in the Senate.
The only reason he sided with Republicans
is because he got tried.
Because the Democrats took away his power, so he switched sides like a rat.
I agree with you. He played politics. He played dirty politics, but
That's not the way to accomplish stuff for yourself. You're for the people, or you're not for the people.
It did help New York. It did help New York. Look, again, I know he did it. You're right. If you should have just become a Republican.
Right.
I hear you. But we live in the state where the word
I don't do that. I could have signed up anyways. I want to talk about Green Line Building Solutions. That's my company. Preservation and Development, Fire Department, Criminal Court, Department of Finance, ECB settlements, building consultation, violation removal, construction manager, owner compliance, contracting, licensed DOB expediters. We do architectural designs, professional for all your building needs. We're located at 202 Forster Avenue, 718-871-0382, 718-871-0382. And listen to me, guys. So much red tape, so much politics. They're moving the system slower. I want to stop them, but there's no way for me to do it because I'm not an elected official, which I want it to be. So I do it from the outside. And even then, it's so hard for the people, but we're very good at what we do. We pass inspections, and it takes us a little longer, but we still know how to navigate you through the red tape. 718-871-0382, 202 Forster Avenue. I even have a parking spot for you and a lollipop in my car.
Let's leave the lollipop in the car. You don't have to get that anymore.
By the way, Chris, I don't want to brag. I'm down 21 pounds. I'm trying to lose more, but it's not working because today I had a big, thick corned beef sandwich with bread and other stuff. I'm very happy about that.
Good for you.
Yeah.
You have to enjoy once in a while.
Chris, I'm gonna ask you straight out one last thing.
I'll answer it.
I know for a fact. I was watching a video the other day about this New York Times reporter saying that January 6th is a joke. The whole thing is a game. And is it a game? Because they have people sitting in jail. We have lawyers. They're not letting people out. And the guy straight out said, a very serious reporter, I forgot his name. He was on videotape. January 6th is a joke and it's a game just to make the people more crazy. True or not true?
Well, what's become of it, I think it's absolutely absurd. I mean, we watched entire cities burn and federal buildings be attacked in the summer of 2020, and we were told that those were mostly peaceful protests that were tied to some historical systemic grievance that most of the country can't see. And then a couple of patriots got a little overexcited on January 6th, and then they crossed the line and they caused damage and they broke into a building, which arguably is theirs to begin with. The desperate attempt of the left to paint this as an insurrection is just laughable on the face of it. It's absurd. And the people in most of those videos were wandering around in the rotunda taking selfies. If there hadn't been pictures of them breaking in, you would have thought they were just normal visitors. So, should the people who broke in and caused damage be punished? Absolutely. But this kabuki nonsense that this represented a threat to the nation. Oh God, it's just
even the way you're talking about punishment, they're burning stores, robbing stores, letting people go out. But over here, you went into the Capitol, you took something. Most people didn't even steal over there, and you're punishing them for crimes that they're going to sit years in jail. Here we did, and by robbing a store and doing insurance claims and frauds and arson, that's federal stuff, and we should be punishing them.
Look, I think one thing is, we all the insurrection word has been thrown around too easily. Okay.
Way too easy.
There was no insurrection against the United States of America, but there was an insurrection with citizens saying, "I am not taking it lying down anymore."
Right.
And look, I don't agree that they had a right to go in and storm the Capitol. That they have a right to go and have their voices heard. Of course, it's called the First Amendment. We're not allowed to say that anymore. You're allowed to peacefully assemble. You're allowed to petition your government. That's the First Amendment. We're allowed to, and that's been taken away from us. And yes, the sentences that I've been handing down for this are severe and ridiculously severe. But at the end of the day, you have to understand this, and it's a political theater. Those in power want to stay in power.
Yeah.
They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care about anyone whose life they damage.
Right.
But if you dare stand up to them, they're going to make your life miserable. They're going to make your wife's life miserable. They're going to make your children's life miserable. They're going to make your great-grandfather's life miserable. And that's what they're doing.
Kalman Yeager reelected, nowhere to be found for the last year. Right? Because it's not election season again. Simcha Felden, nowhere to be found for 2 years. All of a sudden you find him. And by the way, just for your knowledge, Mr. David Schwartz, who says he's Jewish, he had a sukkah on Sukkot.
He is Jewish. Let's not
Sukkot, no, but Sukkot is a Jewish holiday.
Heshy,
like Christmas is a Christian holiday.
Heshy. Okay. We're not gonna argue if somebody's religious, not religious.
No, I'm not saying that
I
religion.
love you.
He doesn't care about his community.
Okay, that's a fair statement. But don't the fact that he invited some goyim into the sukkah.
No. I don't mind that he invited non-Jews and he used the
invite you,
sukkah for the wrong purposes.
I know you just get your egg
He
roll.
didn't give me an egg roll. I am pissed still to this day. I'm happy I'm on a diet because I'm.
See, it was all about the egg roll, Heshy. It was all about the egg roll. You can't let. See, this is what happens when Sawyer's not here. You go off the rails.
Well, you know what? I think I'm not going to let Sawyer come back anymore. I like Ezra sitting across from me. He's much more fun. I just want you to know, I'm just going to give you my theory on this conspiracy of January 6th. The reason why nobody was arrested before January 20th, because Trump could have pardoned them.
Yes.
They waited till after January 20th, where there was no more president to pardon them. If Trump comes back, I hope he pardons everybody.
He's already hinted that he might. Honestly, the thing is, if Trump couldn't pardon them even before January 20th because he was already being impeached,
Right.
and he didn't want to be impeached until after he was already under impeachment. And he could easily actually pardon them anyway. You could pardon somebody for the acts that they've done, and say anyone who participated in it is getting immunity.
Even though they weren't arrested yet.
Well, you know what? Richard Nixon was pardoned by Gerald Ford. He was never arrested.
True, but he was. They did start the impeachment process on him, no?
Again, the impeachment process is a purely political thing, and he resigned before he was impeached, before he was convicted. But Gerald Ford gave him a full presidential pardon. He could go to jail.
Christopher doesn't want Trump back. I know that, and I still don't. I mean, if you're a guy in Florida, the governor there, but I know he's not coming in.
No, he's going to run. DeSantis. If Trump doesn't run, DeSantis is taking it.
But DeSantis, they said his wife is not well, and he's not going to do it.
I don't think he's going to run. And more importantly, I don't want Trump or Biden or anyone. Enough with the boomers. Go away. Go bake cookies for your grandchildren. You ruined the country. You bankrupted us. It's insane. Enough. Just enough.
Who do you put up, Chris?
So who do you want, Chris?
Who do you put up?
Anyone under 50. I don't care.
Wait a second.
No, Chris,
Look,
you can't give us that answer.
You don't want anybody under 50 either. You don't want somebody like myself who's under 50. I do qualify. Okay, you don't want somebody like me running the country. Yeah,
I want
somebody with a little bit more experience.
I want a name. I want a name as somebody smart that we can love and that will love us back and not just be a tyrant. Any name that you think.
Look. If you're pushing me to throw my hat in the ring, then I will. But I really,
Chris, I love you, Chris. I promise.
My wife would be very upset with that choice. So I don't think I'm
your wife will be happy because you will lower gas prices. That much I know
His wife
for
will
sure.
vote against him. We know that.
Well, everybody, thank you for the show. Christopher, thank you for being a wonderful co-host with us. Thank you, my dear friend Ezra Levy. You are great. Everybody, come on back next week to the show.
Next week?
What?
Next week's Purim. Are we on?
Oh, next week is a holiday Purim, so I think we're off the air. It's a holiday. Is it Wednesday night?
Wednesday night is Wednesday night going to Thursday. Wednesday night.
So everybody will be drunk and getting dressed. So we're going to be off next week's show. But either way, I'll be posting some videos throughout the week, and maybe even on Purim, I'll post a video of showing you where I am and dancing. So it won't be an hour show, but it'll be a 5-minute cute little video. Thank you, everybody, for watching our show, and we love you all. Come on back. Thank you, Avram. Play our music. Christopher, I love you, Chris.
Thank you.